Okay, so Gothic Slayers. This is the new film from Caleb Harris. It is written by Dylan Eshbaugh and Ben Getz. The film was produced by Jayson Bernard, Caleb Harris, and Ben Getz. Associate produced by Dylan Eshbaugh. Right, DC McAuliffe took care of the music. Taylor Anderson was cinematography. B.A. Ludwowski edits the piece, with Gary Getz on art direction, Mikey Avina set decoration, costume design we have Elaine Hirsch. Right, hair and makeup we got Jessica Torres, Samantha Lynn, Alicia Goufus, Stevie B. Chavez, and Rachel Anderson. I'm not sure who did. I think Andrew Loudon did the animation. I believe. I might be wrong there. Okay, so now our cast. Right, the film stars Ben Getz as Ben Duff. His best friend is Dylan Mulligan, played by Dylan Eshbaugh. We have got Chloe, played by Samantha Rothermel. Right, Jenny, played by Pippa Verbrick. There's Rebecca, who is Ben's sister, played by Quinn Hemphill. There's Cody, played by Daniel Yaiullo. Eugene is played by Jayson Bernard. Doogie, played by Sully Brown. Maggie, or Dougie, I think that's actually pronounced Dougie. Right, Maggie is... Oh, no, Maggie is Ben's sister, my bad. She's played by Melanie Rosedale. Right, there's Veronica, played by Fiona Domenica. Orlando, played by Jamie Day. Elaine, right, who is Ben's mum, played by Annie Gill. His dad was Gary, played by Tom Moynihan. There's Brian, played by David Andrew Moulton. Kane, played by Jimmo Burrill. Keith, played by Benary Kane. Derek, played by Adrian Muro. Caleb, played by Alan A.J. Rogers. Brittany, played by Lee Getz. She's the golfer at the beginning. Yeah, I mean, that's the majority of the cast, I would say. I think that's the main lot. Right, now, the gist of the story. Ben and Dylan are lifelong best friends and co-workers at their hometown mini golf course. Their days are spent playing putt-putt, devouring ice cream, and hitting up the local arcade. But their small town lives are turned upside down when a demonic cult rolls into town and kidnaps their friend Dougie. Their fate has been set. They must do battle against an ancient, otherworldly evil or not only save their friends, to not only save their friends, but also the only place they've ever called home. So yes, people, that is the film. Now, I do believe this is the directorial debut, the feature directorial debut of Caleb Harris. Right, we do have a director's statement. Okay, it reads: rarely when you read a script written by someone else do you end up finding so much of yourself embedded within its pages. The beauty of Gothic Slayers to me was the opportunity to show almost every piece of myself on screen while harkening back to the style of comedy films of the late 90s, early 2000s that I grew up on. I love the balancing act of a story with an ensemble of quirky characters mixed with a down-to-earth, relatable arc of a friendship at risk of drifting apart. Incorporating multiple different visual mediums was a huge challenge, but also one of the most rewarding elements of the story to me. Comic books and video games encompassed as much of my childhood, so having the freedom to present this story using motifs from these art forms was truly a dream come true. So yeah, that's a statement. And, from that, right, the film throughout, it cuts to these little kind of video game-esque like segues until towards the end we get a full kind of segment utilizing the form, which I think especially the end bit, that was the perfect utilization of that, because it allowed them to play out a sequence which, man, on an indie budget, that's going to be mad difficult to do and make it look good, So I thought, boom, doing it at the end like that, perfect sense and very intelligent, very intelligent storytelling. We have those, with the cutaways, like, the comic book style, right? As he mentioned. So, and you could see these elements in the film. And you could also see that what they were trying to do was, do a comedy in the style of, those friendship comedies that we've seen over and over again. I think this is the first feature written as well by Dylan and Ben. I think they're lifelong friends, And you can see their chemistry, in this film. Story-wise, it's like, it's a film you don't have to think about, right? There's nothing too taxing in this script, in the story, right? You know exactly where it's going, what's gonna happen, right? All of those things. I think we have some solid performances. Sometimes things are overplayed, right? Sometimes things were overplayed, like the cult leader. He's like, when he's talking, it's too performative. Like, it doesn't come across as natural, right? Or even, like, you know what I mean? When you see those cult leaders talk, there's always this, the way that they try and hypnotize, their followers. It wasn't that. It was more, hello, people. I'm talking like this today. You know, and it just felt out of place. Right? When we've got the two cult girls, again, there are moments, it's the I forget her name. It's the more aggressive of the two, right? The blonde one. She, like, there's a bit at the dinner table, she's using two forks, and it's just like, okay, there's no reason why you wouldn't know what cutlery is, right? She's like clawing at the door, and it's just like, it's too much. You know what I mean? It felt like it's too much and too odd. You know, it doesn't really work at this moment when you think about, you know, that character, right? So you have that. We're also forcing comedy. Like, there's a part when a woman comes to the golf place and Dylan's like, oh, you're trying to flirt with me. And it's just like, you know, again, we're just forcing things way too much, right? Dylan and Ben are trying to get out of a window and they're both going out of this small window at the same time. You're just like, okay. I don't think your characters are stupid, right? Like, they're very naive maybe at times, but they're not dumb. So they could look at a space and go, two people ain't fitting out there at the same time. You know, like when they were trying to get onto the roof of the convenience store. You've got loads of crates, but the way in which they're doing it, it was done in too much of a way of like, oh, if we have it, this will be really funny, right? This will be, and it's just like you're forcing it. Just let it be natural. Natural always works. You feel me? Right? And so I think those were the issues I had with the film. That it was trying way too hard a lot of the time. You know? Way too hard to influence the viewer. Right? To be like, we are funny. You know, it's when you meet someone and they're like, oh yeah, I'm hilarious. All my friends, I'm always funny, me. I'm a joker. I'm crazy. And it's just like, oh dear. No, you're not, motherfucker. No, you're not. What are we doing? You know what I mean? It's just like, if it's funny, it's funny. You don't have to try and hit someone over the head with it. You know? And then you just have some in relationships just didn't quite work. We do the whole thing of the girl not a fan, and then later in the film she's like, oh, you know, this. So we do all of that. You know what I mean? And you're just like, huh? There's also a bit of like allegiance switching, which feels like it's come out of the blue, right? Or what was the reason to join the thing in the first place, right? Like it's fine for the person not to be as enamored, but why you join, right? What was the reason? And then after doing all the things, why now? Why now do you choose to switch? You know, you just have to make it believable. Make it believable. Now, that's just me. That's just me. But I think we know, right? We've had so many conversations about films, people. You know that there's a type of comedy that I'm down with. A type that just doesn't seem to be a fan of Step Brothers. You know, just not me. I didn't like the last 2 Bridget Jones films. You know, and I think with something like Gothic Slayers, if you enjoy something like, you know, the last 2 Bridget Jones, if you liked Kinda Pregnant, right? If you like the 420 movie, I think as recent examples of comedies, I think they are good barometers for Gothic Slayers, right? So if you enjoyed those films, you know what I mean? If you enjoyed those films, people, I think you are going to like Gothic Slayers, you know? So that in mind, you know, we've got links to pre-order on the website. The film drops on Tuesday, right? The 4th of March. 4th of March. That's when this will be out in the world. So yeah, if you want to, you know, get some Gothic Slayers in your life, right? If you enjoy that kind of stoner comedy, yeah, I would kind of go, this is in that vein, that stoner comedy, that you know, again, if you look at films like the other iterations of American Pie, right? When you get to those straight to DVD ones, like the 4th, 5th, 6th, you know, with the Naked Mile and just all of those, Van Wilder 2, you know, things like that. If you look at those kind of comedies, if those are your thing, then you may well enjoy Gothic Slayers. So yeah, people, keep that in mind and go do your thing. Gothic Slayers.